Good evening, I'm Janelle Massa. Ian is away. Tonight, a stark new COVID milestone. 2 million infections, but that may just be the start.
It's almost certain that the real number of cases is higher than what's being reported.
A view from inside a hospital, what doctors are seeing as cases rise. Remembering Desmond Tutu.
We have lost a great icon.
An anti-apartheid leader, activist, teacher. The mark he left on the world and Canada. A blast of winter on the West Coast.
It's unusual and it's unusual to stick around.
Snow in Vancouver and dangerously cold in the prairies. And on this Boxing Day, a thrift store find like no other.
Your head starts spinning pretty quickly.
But how did a signed NHL All-Star jersey end up in Whitehorse? This is The National. After a second pandemic Christmas, after lurching from lockdowns to reopenings to restrictions, after variants and vaccines, Canada has passed a milestone that would have been hard to imagine 2 years ago. The country has recorded more than 2 million COVID cases. Of course, that only includes those who got tested. The real number of Canadians infected undoubtedly higher. But we do know how many COVID has put in the ICU. Rising new cases show up weeks earlier and have been a pretty accurate preview of rising ICU admissions. So here's the problem. This surge in cases is unprecedented. And while the number in ICUs is now stable, we still don't know what comes next. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson shows us how, from malls to hospitals, Canadians are approaching a new year of uncharted territory.
Amid a stunning Omicron surge, some shoppers were still willing to brave the Boxing Day crowds.
This was one of the quieter ones, which I enjoyed.
People are really friendly, efficient, behind mask smiles, I could feel it.
Ontario reported close to 10,000 cases today, more than 10,000 yesterday. Quebec reported more than 7,800.
Because we've sort of maxed out our testing capacity, it's almost certain that the real number of cases is higher than what's being reported, because a lot of people who would otherwise go and get tested just can't get appointments to get a PCR test.
But the real concern is to what extent hospitalizations and ICU admissions follow these growing numbers. This ER doctor is seeing a trend.
In the last few days, a lot of people are coming in with very mild symptoms. So sore throat, runny nose. That's the vast majority. These are vaccinated people. A lot more unvaccinated people coming in the last 24 hours, I'd say. The ones getting seriously ill and needing hospital.
Even if a tiny percentage of people get sick enough to land in hospital, a tiny percentage of a lot of people infected at one time still ends up being a lot of people that land in hospitals.
To that end, Quebec is capping even private indoor gatherings to 6 people or 2 households maximum. New Brunswick is bringing in new restrictions on Monday, including tighter caps on indoor gatherings and proof of vaccination at restaurants. That's when Manitoba is expected to announce new measures as well.
We did have some plans for New Year's, which will have already been canceled. We were going to have a bigger dinner, but because of the new restrictions, we're all going to stay at home, I think, this time around. Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but I think it needs to be done.
So, Deanna, in the face of record-breaking case counts, a rush of new restrictions, how are officials and experts saying we should be handling this?
Well, experts are saying for the individuals, Janella, to go back to the basics, meaning reduce your contacts as much as possible. And if you have symptoms and you can't get a test, stay home. Assume you are positive. And for the governments, what they're saying is get those rapid tests, get those boosters to your populations so that we can keep as many people as possible out of places like this. Janella.
All right, thanks, Deanna. The United States is also now seeing a sudden explosion of infections driven by Omicron. Some areas of that country now seeing a rise in hospitalizations, too.
Hospitals in the Twin Cities are overwhelmed and unable to take new patients because we're bursting at our seams already.
Also among the troubling hotspots, New York. Times Square seeing a Boxing Day spectacle of lineups for COVID tests. In the past 2 weeks, hospitalizations in 7 states, including New York, are up 30% or more. COVID also impacting holiday travel.
The reason that our flight was canceled was because of lack of flight attendants.
As soon as we found out our flight was canceled to Maui.
U.S. Airlines canceled more than 1,000 flights on Sunday alone. That's in addition to thousands canceled globally over the weekend. Part of the problem? COVID infections grounding flight crews. To some other news now. South Africa has lost an anti-apartheid icon, the world a moral leader. After years of health issues, Archbishop Desmond Tutu has died. He was 90 years old. Travis Danraj has a look at his remarkable legacy.
We will be free!
To many in South Africa, Archbishop Desmond Tutu embodied the conscience of a nation.
We have lost a great icon, a father.
His nonviolent fight against apartheid won him the Nobel Prize in 1984. It was a battle long, hard, and one he took on with unrelenting energy.
One of the leaders of South Africa's black community was in Toronto today.
It was also a fight he brought to Canada, pushing for politicians here to do more.
Our country is burning. Our children are dying.
Many causes.
Former Ontario Premier David Peterson remembers the moment vividly, saying meeting Tutu had a profound impact on him personally.
I never saw anger. It was outrage, yes, but he was motivated by love and a sunny disposition. And I think he believed in the perfectibility of mankind.
When Tutu was asked to describe the most important moment in his life, the birth of his son came first. A close second,
1994, introducing Nelson Mandela to that crowd, to South Africa, to the world.
Welcome our brand new state president, Nelson Mandela!
I actually said to God, God, I don't mind if I die now.
Even after apartheid, Tutu did not stop, turning his attention to new causes like LGBT rights and climate change. After flying over the Alberta oil sands in 2014, he called them filth, saying First Nations rights were being trampled. Today, world leaders paid tribute to an outspoken man with an infectious laugh. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he was a tireless advocate for human rights. President Barack Obama said he looked to Tutu as a personal moral compass. The Queen reflected on what she described as great warmth and humor. Once asked how he wanted to be remembered, Tutu responded, he loved, he laughed, he cried, he was forgiven, he forgave, greatly privileged. Travis Danraj, CBC News, Washington.
And Canada has lost a beloved comedian and broadcaster. Candy Palmater died suddenly on Christmas Day at the age of 53.
It makes me just really, really proud to say, yes, I'm Indigenous, but I'm an Indigenous Canadian.
She'd sometimes add, quote, a gay, recovered lawyer turned feminist comic who was raised by bikers in the wilds of New Brunswick. Palmater was a familiar personality on both television and radio, fronting her own shows. And in her stand-up, she tackled issues like sexuality, body image, and race.
At no point in my life has my father ever come up to me and said, daughter.
Her cousin is Mi'kmaq lawyer and activist Pam Palmater.
Our grandmother had the hardest life. And she said, it makes me so happy, Pam, that you and I are out here being warriors for our grandmother. And I was just like, that's going to be the best memory I have of her.
Candy Palmater had just finished writing her autobiography, set to be published in the new year. In Toronto, a collision downtown sent 8 people to hospital. Fire crews had to cut the driver out of this SUV that flew into a group of pedestrians. Police say another vehicle had crossed into its lane. 2 of those hurt are in critical condition, one of them a child. Well, winter has rolled in with a vengeance across much of Western Canada and bringing with it snow, wind, and diving temperatures. Take a look at this map, starting in Manitoba and stretching to Vancouver Island. All that red is under warning of extreme cold. And as Chris O'Neill Yates tells us, in British Columbia, that's unusual and causing some problems.
For people at this Vancouver park, this snow means one thing.
Happiness, we get outside, we get to get some fresh air, Have some good quality family time.
Super fun. It's super fun. Super fun. It's awesome.
But on the roads, it was another story. Snow and freezing temperatures leading to black ice and plenty of crashes. Drivers being warned to be careful or to stay off the roads altogether. Over the next few days, with wind chill, it will feel like -20 in Metro Vancouver. It's very early to have such cold weather, says the chief climatologist at Environment Canada.
Some people think it came from Siberia. We think it's more from Yukon, Alaska, the Northwest Territories, and it is thick and dense like molasses.
During the cold weather, this private club opens its hall at night to give people who are homeless a place to sleep and some hot food.
It's just exciting that we're able to use our hall for a really great purpose.
BC isn't the only province taking a hit. In Alberta, temperatures are in the -30 to -40 range, too dangerous to keep ski hills open. This blast of Arctic air is not sparing any part of the prairies. Heavy snow and high winds will sweep into Manitoba too.
Well, we canceled our trip to Mexico, so that was a bummer. Normally we're retired, so we go to Mexico and we're not going, so we just better get used to the cold.
Don't mind the cold, still can do stuff outside and try and embrace it. Hockey, ice skating, you know.
In BC, this unusual snow comes after a year of intense weather, drought, a heat dome, catastrophic flooding, and this is just the beginning.
And I think this year was Mother Nature's way of telling us, hey, wake up to the fact that hey, your Canadian weather is going to be different now.
This western cold front is expected to hang around into the new year. Chris O'Neill-Yates, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, in addition to those frigid temperatures, Alberta is seeing COVID case counts spiral. But Julia Wong shows us the province is hosting one major event that has thousands gathering inside. Undeterred, the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships.
At the World Juniors, excitement filled the arena, but not quite as many fans, amid soaring case counts fueled by the highly infectious Omicron variant.
All alone in front, Bernard scores!
Capacity is capped at 50%, and eating and drinking are not allowed inside the arena.
We're fully vaccinated, and everybody here is going to be fully vaccinated, and it's only 50%. We're following the rules.
Definitely questioned a little bit, but in the end decided that seeing the game is worth it.
NHL games and the Under-18 Women's Hockey World Championship have been canceled, but the World Juniors are still going ahead. Everyone in the bubble is tested daily, and they are not allowed to interact with the public. Positive cases in players and officials have already been detected. Infectious disease experts say they're more concerned about the crowds of fans, though.
Whenever we have people gathering in large groups, then that is going to increase the risk.
And the new measures may not be enough to keep COVID out.
I think eliminating spectators certainly would be the preferable approach given the numbers of cases that we're seeing.
Watching the World Juniors has been a long-standing tradition for Nicole Davidson and her family. They were excited when they scored tickets.
Kind of jumped at the chance to spend that time with my husband and my son, who are huge hockey fans.
Let's go Canada! But Nicole Davidson has multiple sclerosis and is high risk. So the family decided to watch the games from home and refunded their tickets.
For that, I'm sad that we can't go. I know it could be a lot worse, and I know there's a lot of people out there who'll be really disappointed. But I think we're making the right decision.
Centering pass, McTavish walks in. Scores!
A decision as case counts reach levels never yet seen before in this country. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
A different story for some other sports. This week's Olympic curling mixed double trials are canceled after several competitors tested positive for COVID. Like the last Olympic trials in 2018, the competition was set to happen in Portage-la Prairie, Manitoba. The winning team went on to win gold in Pyeongchang. This time, Curling Canada will work with the Canadian Olympic Committee to select the team that'll defend its championship. Well, Meghan Markle has won her privacy battle with a London newspaper over its publishing of portions of a letter to her father. Today, Mail on Sunday acknowledged the victory across the bottom of its front page. The courts ruled in Meghan's favor earlier this year, saying she had a reasonable expectation of privacy. The newspaper's attempt to appeal was rejected by the court. And this year has been a rough one for the royals. Add to that the death of Prince Philip, the scandal around Prince Andrew, and of course the growing impact of the pandemic in the UK, and not to mention the Queen's own health concerns. As Farah Morali shows us, Her Majesty reflected on that in her Christmas message.
This year, the Queen's Christmas message struck a deeply personal chord.
He is someone who doesn't take easily to compliments, but he has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years.
It's her first Christmas without her husband of more than 70 years. She honored him with a sapphire brooch, the very same she wore on their honeymoon.
Christmas can be hard for those who have lost loved ones. This year especially, I understand why.
It's not just the death of her husband that has made this a challenging year. 2021 was plagued with family controversies, and COVID-19 kept her isolated. There have also been questions about her health.
For the first time, she was seen in public with a walking stick and spent a night in hospital. The Queen was also forced to cancel several high-profile events. It's been a year of change, too. Barbados removed the Queen as their head of state, becoming a republic.
By any estimates, this has been a very sad and somber year for the royal family and, of course, for the Queen in particular.
Royal historian Rafe Hadel-Manku says it's important for the Queen to be back in the public eye. Her Christmas Day message is part of that.
The Queen has often said, "I have to be seen to be believed," and I believe that's more important than ever now, because the nation needs to see a strong leader, a strong monarch. She is really the matriarch of the nation now.
We often get asked as soon as we get here, is she home? So I sometimes joke and say, have a look in the windows if you can see her.
Royal tour guide Charlotte Drake says people more than ever are looking to the Queen for a sense of hope, especially during a pandemic.
She's a symbol of strength and resilience, and we look to her response to things.
And through the emotion and optimism in the Queen's speech for a new year, one that marks her Platinum Jubilee, 70 years as reigning monarch. Farah Morali, CBC News, London.
It's a life-changing story of a reunion spanning 3 decades across 5 different countries, including Canada.
I had nothing to go on except for a first name.
This is something I never could have imagined.
It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder.
Coming up a little later, we'll revisit the brothers' remarkable story and bring you an update full of joy and some sadness. Plus, a thrift shop bargain that felt more like a steal.
I felt a bit like I was stealing it. It had that, man, I gotta get out of here with this thing.
Coming up later, the all-star jersey and the autographs to prove it. But first, Ian will be here with this.
Tonight, we're looking at how the sports world shifted in 2021 and how Canada shone on the world stage. So many stories, from a sexual assault scandal to the voices of elite athletes speaking out about their mental health. Our panel of sports journalists tackles all of that and their take on the biggest sports moment of the year. That's up next. Welcome back. I'm Ian Hanomansing, and tonight we're looking back at the triumphs, challenges, and controversies of 2021 in the world of sports.
To win it for Canada!
We celebrated Canada's golden moments at the Olympics.
Warner coming to the finish line, dipping!
And breakthrough performances. But there were harrowing moments, like Kyle Beach's accusations of sexual assault against a former Chicago Blackhawks coach.
I am a survivor, and I know I'm not alone.
A settlement has been announced between Beach and the team. Also this past year, a new focus on the mental health of athletes who work under immense pressure. So excited to speak to these 3 sports experts, Tara Sloan and Donovan Bennett from Sportsnet and Devin Haru from CBC Sports, joining us now. And I'm going to ask all 3 of you this question, but Tara, let me begin with you. What do you think the greatest moment in sports was this year?
Well, if I could substitute a word, I'm going to use most important sports moment, if that's okay. And I hate to steal a page out of Time magazine, who called Simone Biles the athlete of the year, but I think To me, that was the record scratch that was heard around the world. If you think about everything that Simone had on her plate, the burden of expectations, someone who was living with the abuse of Larry Nassar, the burden of being a Black woman in the United States of America, the burden of being a Black woman in a predominantly white sport, not to mention living through a pandemic. For all of our expectations of Simone Biles, for all that she was carrying on her shoulders, to pull out of competition in the Tokyo Olympics, it was like this wild act of radical self-care. And I think we will feel the impact of that for years and years to come.
Donovan, for you, whether it's important or significant or exciting, the sports moment of 2021 for you?
Yeah, when I think of this year, for me, it's a collection of moments and who made those moments for Canadians. And I love the fact that, this was an election year. We as a country at times are more divisive than ever before. But when we were celebrating people who are from elsewhere, right? Second and, first generation Canadians, right? The people who prototypically are other made us all come together and realize that we are more alike than we are different. There's so many examples, whether it's Damian Warner, Andre DeGrasse, Penny Alexiak, Maggie McNeil, Bianca Andreescu, Liliana Fernandez, Dennis Shapovalov, Alphonso Davies, Andrew Wiggins, Jamal Murray, on and on and on. As Canadians, we are the best in the world when we realize the best part about Canada is we welcome the entire world.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at all their stories. I mean, Alphonso Davies' story of being a refugee family ending up in Edmonton, and we could go through that entire list that you mentioned, and each one of them would have an incredible story about how they came to Canada and how they ended up being among the best in the world now with what they do. Devin, a lot of pressure here after your two colleagues to identify a sports story of the year.
To me, Ian, it was a remarkable year of sporting achievements, but the fact that the Olympics took place, despite the fact that there were so many questions about whether or not these games would go forward, is the sporting moment of the year for me. But I want to add on to that the Canadian performances at the Tokyo 2020 Games, because I had a front row seat to all of it. And there was just this will to want to keep moving forward, to chase greatness. And then when they arrived on the grandest athletic stage in Tokyo, they put on a show I think Canadians will never forget. And to me, we've been ripped apart in the midst of this pandemic. And then the power of sport reminded us all that we're in this together, right? And the Olympics really galvanized this country. I had so many notes and on social media, Canadians telling me they were staying up through the night. And I should point out that for all the worry going into these games and all the COVID concerns, the Canadian sport framework came together in a way I don't think we've ever seen before. And there wasn't a single positive case among the Canadian delegation. Podium performances all around, a gold medal for the Canadians at the Tokyo 2020 Games.
There is a beauty to the Olympics. I've seen it firsthand as well, and you certainly reported on it this year. Serious issues in 2021 in sports, and Tara, you touched on this, so let's go again to all three of you. Donovan, this time I'll start with you. We heard Tara talk about Simone Biles, and she's not the only athlete that kind of made mental health like an issue that we heard discussed on sportscasts. Why don't you talk more about that?
Yeah, I mean, we should be proud of a couple of Canadians, not just for their performance, but for their ability to speak on an important topic. Bianca Andreescu is one. Penny Alexiak, in a big way, is another. And you think about that, again, all young people, but all women. And Simone Biles and Penny Alexiak literally are the faces of the games for their respective nations. And they were able to, in the midst of the pressure, talk about how that pressure made them feel, forced us to cover it and talk about it, quite frankly. But these are young women with leverage, with agency, and with corporate partners that were willing to support them nonetheless. And so I think there were so many op-ed pieces coming out of those games talking about mental health and what does mental toughness really mean in a sporting context, that it's a conversation that I think we were all permitted to have because those fearless women had it for it.
Tara, you were very outspoken in your support for former Chicago Blackhawks player Kyle Beach, who alleged a sexual assault by a video coach. A few weeks now have passed since that story was kind of dominating headlines. What do you think the impact has been on the NHL?
I think we're all hoping that Kyle's story will provide a tipping point for hockey culture and what is problematic within that. There are a lot of people who, like me, have been cynical, I think for very good reason. I don't think we've seen the empathy that we wanted to see. We haven't seen the action yet, and we've seen a lot of litigiousness. But I am buoyed by what I saw at the Board of Governors meeting, and this was giving Kim Davis, the Executive Vice President of Social Impact, the floor. She had it for almost an entire day. And she was talking about the NHL's partnership with Sheldon Kennedy and the Respect Group. And this is something that I think is going to be rolled out incrementally. There are going to be 90-minute mandatory video sessions with everybody within the NHL umbrella. And this will also be rolled out, this is my understanding from Sheldon himself, through other leagues like the AHL, the CHL, the USHL. So everybody sort of under that greater NHL umbrella should be getting this same training. And then there will be in-person workshops, and it goes on and on. So I am most buoyed by the fact that I'm hearing from Sheldon himself that he is kind of putting himself on the line and saying that if he didn't believe this was going to work, he wouldn't do it. But ultimately, it's incumbent upon us. I think the media needs to use our voices. Fans need to use their voices. Stakeholders, sponsors need to continue to be loud and demanding that the NHL take these issues seriously.
And one other serious issue, Devin, I'll ask you about this. Canadians goalie Carey Price abruptly going on medical leave at the beginning of the season, and then he revealed it was for treatment for substance abuse. Do you think that's going to have a big impact on the public conversation?
So when Carey Price comes out and shows this level of vulnerability and asks for help in a sport and in a culture that says you shouldn't ask for help, that you should remain silent, because if you show any sort of sign of weakness, it might mean losing your job, it might be losing your starting role. And so Carey Price steps into this, and he's so vulnerable, like I said, but I'll never forget also the post that his wife took to social media and posted about the fact that she understood that they had this privileged position, a platform, and that they wanted to use this experience to say to the public, it is okay to ask for help when there are mental health issues at play, and that Carey Price is willing to show up both for himself and for his family. I don't think we're going to see immediate groundswell of athletes stepping into their truth and coming forward and saying, I need help, because we know this is a system that's been plagued by many, many things, including staying silent. But when we have a superstar like Carey Price do this and say, I need help in a manly man, sort of hyper-masculine sport, this is a beginning. This could be a game changer.
One last question to all three of you, and Tara, I'll begin with you. Your pick for Canadian athlete or team of the year?
This one's easy for me. I haven't screeched as loudly or jumped up and down as many times as I did when the Canadian women's soccer team won the gold medal. It was just absolute poetry in motion. As the Arkells say, it was years in the making, and it was just absolutely stunning. And to see Christine Sinclair, the leading international scorer, get her due. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Donovan?
Well, as Kanye West says, there's 1,000 yous. There's only one of me. There's only one world's greatest athlete, and that's Damian Warner. So clearly he's Canada's greatest athlete. He set an Olympic record, went for 9,000 at the Olympics in record heat in a tournament that wasn't set up for high performance. Oh, and he did that training in a pandemic in arena in London, Ontario. It's clearly Damian Warner.
Yeah, and every interview I've seen of him, I've never met him, but man, he seems like the nicest guy and the greatest athlete. A nice combination. Devin, your choice?
Jumping into the deep end, the Canadian women's swimming team, they took the world by storm. 6 medals at the National Aquatic Center. And of course, 21-year-old Penny Oleksiak becomes the most decorated Olympian. And wasn't it fitting that she won it alongside her teammates? I was right there to meet her when she won that 7th medal. And she said, I wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way because I have my teammates beside me. That team showed it takes a village. They leaned on each other. 6 medals. What a performance by the Canadian women's swim team.
Great choices, great insight from all three of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, the pandemic has changed so much in our lives, including what we're cooking and how we're spicing it up.
Oh, look how much I got. I know. Ah!
Coming up, how demand is turning up the heat on the hot sauce market. Plus,
this was our first time ordering a meal prep box like this.
Meal kits have also boomed during the pandemic, but have they plateaued? Where the market goes from here, that's next. Welcome back. Hot sauces have been hot sellers during the pandemic, fired up by a rise in home cooking. And now some artisan creators have come up with concoctions to challenge the national brands. Philippe de Montigny gives us a taste.
Shannon Armishaw and Kevin Rickey launched their hot sauce business in April. In merely 8 months, the Toronto startup sold over 5,000 bottles.
People are loving artisan hot sauces, and there is a thirst for it that we did not anticipate.
The pandemic boosted hot sauce sales as consumers sought to spice up those home-cooked meals.
People were trapped at home, and they were cooking for themselves, trying new things.
Montreal-based La Pimenterie is also seeing the demand heat up.
Notre chiffre d'affaires est sur la voie de doubler.
Founder Julien Fréchette says his revenues just about doubled in the last year. Even globally, hot sauce sales soared in 2020 to more than $5.5 billion.
When we started in 2007, I think there were 2 other hot sauce companies, maybe 3 in Ottawa, and now you really can't keep track. They're popping up all the time. It's a nice time to be in the industry when it's growing.
Oh, look how much I got! I know! Ah! Producers are also riding on a social media craze, with hot sauce challenges going viral, celebrities taking part. Even this Korean hip-hop song celebrating the spicy delicacy is taking the internet by storm.
Hot Ones has definitely helped kind of propel that, and also bringing different hot sauces and small batch hot sauces to light.
With all that momentum, Heiko Kreigsman launched an online marketplace for hot sauce earlier this year, not only selling his own products, but also those of 30 other Canadian producers.
And with that, we were able to actually help other small craft makers a little bit during this high time of the pandemic by helping to get their products out in the market as well.
His goal? To show foodies and hot sauce enthusiasts there's so much more out there than the old fiery favorites. Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the pandemic's also been good for ready-made meal kits. Housebound customers have been gobbling them up, but there are signs that investors are losing their appetite. CBC senior business reporter Jacqueline Hansen on the search for a recipe for success.
It's only going to take 15 minutes.
The pandemic has led to many nights in.
This was our first time ordering a meal prep box like this.
A recipe for success for the makers of meal kits.
The pandemic was really just this big push, this huge tailwind behind the business.
Canadians turn to them for something new. The kits come with pre-portioned ingredients and directions. Pre-pandemic, only 14% of households had ordered a meal kit. Now that has jumped to more than 20%.
To see a shift like that in just 1 year is pretty significant.
I still have to cook it myself. Gross.
But the pandemic appeal is wearing off for some people and investors. Shares of Montreal-based Good Food have wiped out nearly all the gains made over the past 2 years. And in the most recent quarter, the company lost 19,000 subscribers.
As the vaccination campaigns were progressing really nicely across Canada, there was pent-up demand from Canadian consumers for out-of-home activities.
But the CEO is confident that those customers will come back this winter. Though the cost of nearly all food is going up, a recent survey found that most respondents who tried and rejected meal kits said they were too expensive.
It didn't really matter whether you have a high household income or low household income.
This marketing expert says selling them as a luxury or treat could work, but competition for dinner time every day is steep.
We have the frozen aisle, we have the pantry, we have fast foods, we have restaurants, so it is a very, very busy marketplace.
Good Food argues it brings more to the table, including groceries. At its first micro-fulfillment center in Toronto, groceries and kits can now be picked, packed, and delivered in 30 minutes. Gearing up in the race to satisfy the changing appetites of Canadians in a hope to win them over for good.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
The pandemic has been marked by highs and lows for so many, but for 6 brothers, it's been life-changing for another reason.
I was overwhelmed with emotion. I was speechless.
Coming up, an update on a remarkable reunion, 30 years in the making, and its Canadian connection. Stay with us. The holidays are traditionally a time for families to get together, but the pandemic has forced some long separations. We thought this might be the perfect time to remind you of an incredible family reunion we first told you about last month. It involved a Canadian man who had no idea he had brothers who'd been trying to find him for decades. Here's the incredible story of a family lost and found.
I just always wondered what else is out there for me. And then I got the message. He was just like, I think you are my brother.
He was adopted as an infant, and one day Michel Prentice got a message that changed his life, bringing a family and brothers he never even knew he had.
He was sending me photos of myself, asking if this is you. And at first I was very reclusive. I was like, yo.
I had nothing to go on except for a first name. I had a first name and then this picture.
A reunion 30 years in the making, spanning 5 countries and 3 languages.
I'm a fine artist, so I create art as well as I teach art.
30-year-old Michel has called Toronto home for the last 10 years. But he grew up here in Flesherton, Ontario, a tiny town of less than 600 people.
There was a lot of community in the small town that I grew up with, and everybody knows everybody. That's just kind of how the countryside is.
Was it difficult being a black kid growing up in a city that I assume doesn't have too many people who look like you?
So yeah, my brother and I, we found it hard. It was tough fitting in and sometimes downright nasty. This is in Haiti? Yep.
Michel and his brother Jordan share much more than the experience of growing up black in a small town.
That you were at the orphanage with your house mothers.
They were both adopted from Haiti at a young age.
Michel is about 5 weeks and Jordan is 14 months.
But they aren't biologically related. And Michel knew little about the family who'd given him up, left only with this picture of his father and the sad story of his birth.
I remember when my parents had told me that the orphanage had let them know that my mother had passed away giving birth to me, and I always felt a little empty. It was tough. I tried to draw a picture of her, and I just couldn't do it.
For years, this was the only family Michel had ever known. But that all changed in March of 2020.
I knew it was him because his facial features are very similar to mine.
Eloise Ferguson had spent the last 15 years looking for his baby brother. He lived almost a parallel life as him, growing up with white parents and adopted siblings in small-town Maine. Then a chance encounter led to something remarkable.
My dad, he knew a Haitian man who traveled from Haiti into the US. My dad gave him some information about me, my last name. Next thing you know, my cousins emailed my father, and my dad told me that I had family, and we connected. And
they didn't just connect. They told Eloise news he wasn't prepared for, that he was one of 6 brothers.
And I was overwhelmed with emotion. I was speechless.
Their story begins in Tomazo, Haiti, about an hour outside the capital city. Mariana and Andre were struggling to take care of their 6 boys. It turns out their mother hadn't died giving birth to Michel, but her mental health was deteriorating quickly, and she was sent to a care facility. Left on his own, Andre was just too poor to care for the boys and had no choice but to split them up. Eloise, Michel, and Ishmael were adopted by North American families. Too old for the orphanage, Joseph and Adrienne were sent to live with relatives in Haiti. And just 7 years old, Ezekiel was sent to work on a farm in the Dominican Republic.
Once I found that out, it was my sole mission to seek out these other siblings, to find them any way possible, because we had very minimal information. We didn't have much at all to go with.
But one by one, he did find them. Joseph in Florida, Adrienne in Chile, Ezekiel in Brazil. Another 6 years would pass before an ancestry DNA test led him to Ishmael. He now goes by Josh. But Michelle was still nowhere to be found until one of the brothers found a clue.
Joseph had found another picture of Michelle, and this actually had a last name on it. Once I found that information, I immediately went on Google and just Googled his name.
It was a lot going on. It was so much to process, but I knew that I had to meet them all and see what they look like, and I just was hungry to just see their experience.
There you are.
There we go.
Hi, Adrienne. Hey.
But the pandemic put the brakes on any in-person meeting, forcing the brothers to connect the only way they could. We joined in on a virtual call.
This is pretty crazy, just seeing everybody here and being able to do this.
Together, they're learning more about the very different lives they've lived.
I was in Port-au-Prince too, living with my auntie.
And the older brothers who never forgot the little ones who went away.
Estoy buscando todo lado y mis hermanos. Fui al hospital donde se vaya mi papá para saber la noticia de mis hermanos.
Years ago, the three older brothers reconnected with their father, who so desperately wanted to find his three long-lost sons.
Todos los días mi papá se llorando, nosotros se llorando también, pero es difícil para mí de soportarte de eso, porque no sabe dónde ellos.
Sadly, their father didn't live to see this reunion.
Él murió en mi brazo en el hospital. Él apretó mi brazo.
So much loss. But there is hope too, and comfort for Michel knowing his biological mother is alive.
Like I felt at peace. I felt like this is so gratifying.
When you thought about one day maybe being connected with your family, did you ever imagine it would be like this?
No, this is something I never could have imagined.
It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. It feels like now we can start our relationship.
Michel can't wait to one day meet his brothers in person. Until then, they have a lifetime of catching up to do. Well, a lot has happened since we first brought you that story. For starters, earlier this month, 4 of those 6 brothers got to meet in person for the first time. That is the moment Michel finally got to embrace his big brothers. That's him in the green shorts and the baseball cap when they picked him up at the airport in Fort Lauderdale. That's where Joseph, the second oldest, now lives, along with cousins from their mother's side of the family. But a sad update. While they were together in Florida, the brothers learned that their mother passed away in Haiti. Difficult news, but a small comfort that they could at least be together in that moment of grief. Still to come, a thrifted treasure for a Yukon man.
There was Crosby's autograph clear as a bell.
The story behind an incredible find at a secondhand store in Whitehorse. That's next. When Ron Cruikshank walked into a secondhand store in Whitehorse, he didn't expect to walk out with a piece of NHL history, and the price tag, just $26. An all-star jersey. Turns out it was signed by some of the greats like Crosby and Ovechkin. And he's confident this thrifted treasure is the real deal. The bargain find felt like a great story for us on this Boxing Day, so tonight it's our moment.
I was at the local store changing gears. I went up after Christmas in 2019, and I was just flipping through the rack that they have of hockey jerseys. And I noticed one, I pulled it up. Actually, when I pulled it up, it said All-Star on it. And then I looked at the NHL logo on it. And I always remember the moment when I looked on the jersey and there was Crosby's autograph clear as a bell. I look at the price and it was $26. Your head starts spinning pretty quickly. You get pretty excited when you see something like that. I quickly grabbed it and went to the front counter and checked out. I felt a bit like I was stealing it. It had that, man, I got to get out of here with this thing. I still remember the moment I sat on a chair, looked up to see who was in the All-Star game in 2008, noticed that Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin was in it, all these players were in it. The mystery in all this is how did it end up on changing gears from Atlanta, Georgia, which is where the game took place, how did it end up on the rack at changing gears?
So he actually took it to Ottawa to the Senators store, and they told him it looked legit. He should probably take it to the Hockey Hall of Fame to get the authentic papers to go along with it. He hasn't done that yet. He's not sure if he would, but maybe a reminder on this Boxing Day if you're looking for the bargains, check out the thrift store. That's it for The National here on December 26th. Have a good night.